Well, I'm very pleased to be here. I'm working for Fluxys since 30 years. And Fluxys is an infrastructure company owning and operating natural gas pipelines, LNG, so liquid natural gas receiving terminals and storage sites in Belgium, but initially in Belgium, but broader, I would say, in most of the European countries, but currently also some in the Middle East and some in Latin America. We are very much purpose-driven, meaning that we are working on the energy transition. So now we are looking into infrastructure needed for making the energy transition happen, basically CO2 infrastructure as well as H2 infrastructure.
And that connects us. We are also purpose-driven and allow institutional investors access to your type of portfolio companies, which are driving the energy transition, focusing on renewable energy, transmission, both electricity and gas, because hydrogen will also play a pivotal role in the future, as well as storage through companies that we own, which have hydro, batteries, and others. We are energy infrastructure partners, operating in the sector for 10 years, a company of 100 individuals. And you are one of our 20, and probably fair to say that I'm very proud of us being part of your portfolio company shareholder group. We have 20 companies and manage 8 billion only in energy infrastructure partners funds for 10 years in the market now.
So that is a big chance for you both to make advertising for this asset class. And I think the investors here in Frankfurt are very interested. What can they earn? And what are the risks and what is the perspective? The mid-long term maybe.
So, well, what can we earn? I'm talking about Flux, of course, not about EIP. But this is most of our business is regulated business. So we are talking about a nice balance between cash flow, risk, as well as a nice return, an acceptable return taking into account the risk. Since most of our assets are being controlled by the local regulators, national regulators, almost everywhere based on the principle of a regulated asset base times WACC, weighted average cost of capital system, which allows us to guarantee a stable cash flow yield towards our investors.
And our investors, they benefit from the fact that energy availability is a given. So the consumer don't care so much where the energy comes from for their electric car, for their heating, for their electricity consumption, but they care very much if it doesn't come. And we saw an example in Southern Europe last week. And that is the nature of security of supply that we put in focus in our assets, meaning we have it all because it will always be a mix of different energy vectors, ensuring this affordability as well, to be competitive, to show the security of supply and help decarbonize societies, which is the set political goal that we support with our product.
I would like to add on that one that this is very key for the future as well. Diversification of our energy vectors will be key. It has been key, is key, but will even be more key in the energy transition scenario, whereby indeed electrification will be a very important challenge and very important. That's why Fluxys has invested recently also in the electricity grid of the Elia Group, which is the Belgian operator also owning a German big grid called 50 Hertz. But we also will need CO2 infrastructure, we also will need H2 infrastructure, and we also will need for a very long term still natural gas. So every single investment we do, new pipelines that we do build are always multi-purpose in order to be able to repurpose from one vector to another vector our infrastructure in the future.
And that will result in stable yields?
Yes, this is all regulated business, meaning that, of course, the regulatory systems are in place for natural gas. We know it, it's existing since 25 years now. But the same systems, step by step, are being copy-pasted or special-pasted into hydrogen system. We are now in Germany investing already in the core grid, where through OGE, we have a very important share in OGE, being the biggest natural gas operator in Germany. And the same system as natural gas has been implemented with also some guarantee in terms of cash flow coming from the state as well as return, even if the market would be late or not come at all, because we don't know. In Belgium, we are also evolving in the same direction. We are nominated H2 transport company for Belgium, and the same similar system, the same regulatory system is being implemented as we speak. CO2 is a little bit behind in terms of regulation, but also there in Belgium, for example, the legislation has been decided and is already in place. Of course, we are now implementing the details. In Germany, this is a discussion which has started recently.
And to participate from those trends, it needs what you said before, the long-term perspective. You can't capitalize on those trends within 5 to 7 years. If you want, there's a risk of failure or not achieving the objective, which is so important given the responsibility companies like yours bear for society and the access to private capital in combination with the public shareholder group that is also an anchor for your business and for our partnership. That's a very strong combination for institutional investors.
Yes, indeed. I do appreciate, and I'm always very much in favor of having a combination, which historically we had, of the public entities, because we are partly owned by the Belgian municipalities, which anchor this basically societal interest in our companies, in our DNA, combined with, of course, the industrial view of private investors such as EIP, giving us also an international experience, sharing their international experience and their expertise coming from other countries. And that's also what allows us to develop our activities outside of Belgium and Northwest Europe, but even outside of Northwest Europe, since we are active also in other continents with the same business always.
Mm-hmm. And is it fair to say there was a queue of investors who would have wanted to invest in your business? Then in the boardroom and shareholder groups, as we have in other companies, the discussion is who can we get most from as a partner? And that's where private markets and experts like GPs in energy infrastructure partners can really help them get fresh ideas, be challenged in their current business model and make them ready for the future, for the stable cash yield and the returns that the sector promises.
So what is the vehicle to invest in this market? What do you offer? Last question.
Yes, we have a current fund which is called the Energieinfrastruktur, which is a fund which has more than 60% exposure to European energy infrastructure. The rest is in OECD countries across the globe. And we are standing at a very strong track record after 2 years building the portfolio, have more than 4 companies and stand at 1.5 billion capital, and that fund is open for any interested party to invest in during this year.
Pascal and Tobias, it sounds like a success story, and thank you for this wonderful interview. Thank you for today.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for inviting us.